a minute. So Jay Z was talking about Nicki Minaj kid? What? Look, bro, I don't want to hear nobody saying that Nicki went too far when she does respond. Now, don't get me wrong, Nicki has gone far in her tweets and all that kind of stuff. You know what I'm talking about? However, I don't want to hear, I can already hear the think pieces. Because I think a lot of us think the same thing about one of them kids. So when Nicki respond, when she respond, I ain't trying to hear Nathaniel. We can just rap, right? This just you call PDF files. You ain't got no facts. You can talk about people, family members that don't even rap. Ain't no rules, right? Even though Jay Z said that there is rules, leave out women and children. Even though I understand him going to Nicki, because you know Nicki is his op. Even though he said rappers can't be his op, but okay, you know what I'm talking about. Okay. we just gon' okay. You know what I'm talking about? You can go at Nicki, but the fact that you brought up her kid, bro, you open that box now. You open that box. I need you to remember that. You open that box, bro. And we all know how Nicki, how her fan base is. We already know how they coming, huh? We know how they coming, ain't? We know how they coming, bro. Me personally, I don't fear no man. You know what I'm talking about? But I wouldn't dare mess with Nicki Minaj fan base, bro. Nicki Minaj fan base be stepping. I'm talking about they be walking.
Jay's got on that Roots picnic stage and said something that opened a door a lot of people think should have stayed closed. And now Tasha K is doubling down, and the whole internet is waiting for Nicki Minaj to respond. Let's break down every piece of this. To understand why Jay-Z was ready to go that hard, you have to understand where the beef with Nicki actually comes from. It goes back to Tidal. When Jay-Z launched the streaming platform in 2015, Nicki was brought in as a partner and given equity in the company. Fast forward to 2021, Jay-Z sells the majority of Tidal for $302 million. According to Nicki, she did not get what she was owed. She believed she had helped build something real and got pushed out when it was time for the real money to hit. That wound sat for years. By summer of 2025, Nicki had taken it public. She went on X and started firing, accusing Jay-Z of blocking opportunities for artists, accusing Roc Nation of being shady and dirty, claiming he had actively sabotaged her career. She wasn't being subtle about it. She was naming the man directly and going in. So by the time Jay-Z stepped stage at the Roots Picnic in Philadelphia on May 30th, his first solo headline show in the US in over 7 years, he had been sitting on this for a long time. He opened the show with a 4-minute freestyle and he used it to empty the clip. He went at Drake, Kanye West, Dame Dash, Jaguar Wright, and Nicki Minaj. The bar that got everyone's attention was the one about Nicki's husband, Kenneth Petty, a convicted sex offender, not being able to even pick up their own child. Most people took that as a direct shot at Nicki's son, Papa Bear. He even changed his look for the show. No more locks. Came out with a full afro. And the whole performance read like a man who had been waiting for this moment. The reaction was split immediately. DJ Academic said Jay-Z looked unhinged, said this wasn't the controlled, composed, high-level boss talk he'd built his image on. Said it looked more like a frustrated man lashing out over his legacy, being questioned than the version of Jay-Z who always seemed to have everything under control. A lot of people agreed with that read, and a lot of people also pointed out the hypocrisy. Because not long before the Roots Picnic, Jay-Z had given an interview where he said rap beef had gone too far when it started involving families. Said he didn't love seeing kids pulled into it. Said it was the kind of thing that didn't help the culture grow. He was specifically referencing the Kendrick Drake situation, but he was clearly staking out a general position: leave the kids out. And then he got on stage and aimed a bar at Nicki Minaj's child. That contradiction is exactly what Tasha K jumped on. Photos of Jay-Z and Beyonce's son, Sir Carter, who is 8 years old, had been circulating online, and Tasha K used them as part of her response, calling out what she saw as Jay-Z's audacity for coming at someone's child when pictures of his own kid existed for people to find. She was pointing out the same basic thing a lot of people were feeling, that you can't make a public statement about protecting kids from beef and then be the one to bring a kid into beef. Now here's the part that needs to be said because it applies to everybody in this situation. Children do not belong in rap beef, period. It doesn't matter who starts it, who has more clout, or who has the better argument. These are kids who did not choose their parents' careers, did not ask to be famous by association, and have absolutely no business being used as ammunition in adult disputes. Jay Z was wrong to reference Nicki's son. Tasha K was wrong to respond by bringing Sir Carter into it. Two wrongs don't become right because one came first. But here's where the hypocrisy goes in multiple directions, because this isn't just about Jay Z. Nicki Minaj went after Cardi B's daughter Culture, a 7-year-old little girl, called her a roach, talked about her appearance, compared her to a monkey, then gave a backhanded, half-hearted apology. Yes, Jay Z made a mistake going at Papa Bear, but the idea that Nicki is the pure victim in a situation where children are being dragged is a difficult argument to make with a straight face. She set that precedent herself. You can't throw punches at somebody's baby and then act like the rules change the moment someone punches near yours. Everyone in this situation has dirty hands. The only people paying a real price for any of it are the children who have no say in any of it. Now let's talk about what everyone is actually waiting for. Nicki's response. As of this video, Nicki Minaj has been quiet. Notably, strategically quiet. After everything Jay Z said on that stage, after all the attention and the reaction and the takes, she has not posted a direct response, has not hopped on a freestyle, has not come to X to fire back. And her silence is louder than anything she could have said in the moment. Because Nicki Minaj does not go quiet out of fear. She goes quiet when she's working. There are a few ways to read this. One is that she's taking her time deliberately, letting Jay Z's words sit in the culture and do their own damage while she prepares something that will hit with significantly more force than a tweet. Nicki is one of the best in the game at timing. She understands that the artist who responds immediately often looks reactive, while the artist who takes their time and comes with something real often wins the cultural moment entirely. The second angle is that coming for her child specifically might have shifted the nature of the response she's preparing. This no longer feels like a title dispute or a business grievance playing out in bars. This feels more personal. And when something is personal for Nicki Minaj, the response tends to reflect that. The third thing worth considering is that Kanye West has been dragging Jay Z's kids. Not just one comment, but repeatedly over years, and Jay Z has largely stayed composed about it publicly. So the idea of Jay Z now referencing Nicki's child after enduring years of his own children being mentioned by Kanye is an irony that hasn't been lost on anybody watching. What is clear is that a box has been opened. Jay Z's own words, "leave families out of it," are now the standard being held against him. He put that standard out there himself, and the moment he deviated from it on stage in Philadelphia, he handed Nicki an argument she didn't even have to construct. He built it for her. If Nicki goes to the booth with this, she has several obvious angles. The title equity dispute is documented and public. The hypocrisy of Jay Z's interview versus his freestyle is documented and public. The Kanye parallel is documented and public. And the personal grievance of someone invoking her child is a motivation that most people, regardless of which side they're on, can understand. Here's the bottom line on all of this. Adults in the public eye have chosen to put themselves in front of the world. Their business dealings, their music, their public statements, all of that is fair game. Their children are not. A child wearing a diaper, whether it's Sir Carter at 8 years old or Papa Bear at any age, is not a piece of ammunition in a rap beef. The culture has a habit of treating these moments like it's entertainment and forgetting that there are actual kids attached to these names who are going to grow up and find all of this with a simple Google search. Jay Z started it with that bar. Tasha K escalated it by responding in kind. And if Nicki's response includes anything pointed at the Carter children, the cycle continues and nobody, not the artists, not the commentators, not the fans engaging with it online, is going to come out of it looking good. Everybody in this situation should know better. Some of them have children themselves and understand exactly what it feels like to have someone aim at your kid. That knowledge should be the thing that makes people stop, not the thing they ignore when they're mad. Drop a comment. Do you think Nicki responds with a diss track? And do you think there's any version of this situation where somebody actually draws the line on involving kids?